Hi everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Maya and today this video is going to be a very exciting one because I am doing my end of year reflections from 2025 as well as setting some goals for this new year of 2026. And while I do these reflections, I am also going to color in this super cute coloring book. It is one of my favorite coloring books. It's full of so many cute pages and I've done a lot of them already, and today I am going to work on this page right here. And while we're at it, I thought I'd also share another one of my favorite coloring books. It is called Fall into Winter Coloring Book by Uncomfy and Friends. And Uncomfy is a YouTuber that I gain a lot of inspiration from. I love her videos, I love her aesthetic, and she is a YouTuber and small business owner, and she makes coloring books as well as plushies. And yeah, I have been coloring in her coloring book all winter break, and I actually finished this whole coloring book in like 2 weeks. Highly recommend this coloring book, and if you get it, let me know how you like it and let me know which one is your favorite coloring page because I honestly like all of them so much. They're so cute. But if I had to pick one, this one's one of my favorite coloring pages. I'm a big fan of this one too. Okay, so I talked a little bit about this in my last birthday vlog, but the beginning of 2025 was quite tough actually because I went through a breakup, and the breakup was very unexpected. It was pretty blindsiding and it was just really devastating. I was feeling very heartbroken and sad in the beginning of the year. But looking back now that it's 2026, I can confidently say that I can heal from heartbreak. This isn't like my first heartbreak. I have gone through other breakups before, but this breakup was just, it was really tough for me. And there were many moments when I was in the thick of heartbreak and grief where I was like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to feel better? Like, am I ever going to move on and heal? Am I ever going to like someone as much as I liked this person? And I think those are very common thoughts to have when you're going through heartbreak and grief. And when you're in it, it really does feel like it's never going to end. It takes time and it takes work, but I have learned that even if it feels like it's never going to end, it will get better. Also, if you know anybody who is going through heartbreak or grief right now, I encourage you to just send them a little bit of love, send them a text. Just say that you're thinking of them or something like that, just because heartbreak and grief is just such a difficult experience. And I think those little texts and, those little messages that tell someone that you're thinking of them can really go a long way. And I know that when I was in the thick of grief, having my friends check in on me just meant so much, and it really helped me get through a tough time. And also, if you are the one who's going through a tough time, if you're going through heartbreak, I encourage you to just be patient with yourself. Give yourself some grace. It will get better. I'm living proof that you can get through heartbreak. It is possible. And I also think that I might do another video on heartbreak and grief and healing from heartbreak, so let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in. So a second reflection is kind of related to the first one. That reflection is, I can do it with a broken heart. So for all you Taylor Swift fans out there, you know that I Can Do It With a Broken Heart is the title of one of her songs from the Tortured Poets Department, and that is actually a song that became like an anthem of mine in the beginning of 2025. I would play it all the time. I would play it in the mornings as I was getting ready. I would play it on the way to work. I would play it on the way from work. It was just a song that I had on repeat. And basically that song is about how we can do hard things even when we are hurting, even when we're going through a really hard time. We can still show up and do a really good job, and we can do things that we're really proud of. And for a bit of context, in the first half of 2025, I worked with a transitional kindergarten class, and so the kids were 4 to 5 years old. And that age group is definitely a very, very cute age group. And it also takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of patience, and it just takes a lot of just attention to work with that age group. And so even when I was kind of struggling internally and I was feeling really sad about the breakup and stuff, I still had to get up every single day, go to work, and put a smile on for the kids and really just put my best foot forward, make sure that I was giving them my all, make sure that I was paying attention to them and showing them patience and compassion and all of those things. Through that experience, I really learned that I can do hard things even when I'm struggling and hurting inside. I can still show up and do good work. And I think that was a really great thing for me to see with my own eyes. And I think it was really empowering as well. So this next reflection also has to do with work environments. And that is, when you're in a toxic work environment, work for yourself. So for context, the work environment that I was working in the first half of 2025 was just really, really tough. It was just not a very positive work environment. I really struggled in that work environment. I did not feel very appreciated or respected, and it was just a really tough environment to show up in every single day. And from going through that experience, I learned that one, it's really important to try to sort out the issues by talking to the other person and trying to kind of sort things out interpersonally and get on the same page. And if that doesn't work, you might have to get some higher ups involved. That can also maybe help the situation. And if that doesn't work, then I learned that it's just like really important to just learn to work for yourself. And what I mean by that is that if you are working for someone who you don't feel respects you and who you feel is not really helping you grow at all, then it's really important to do work that you are proud of. So to show up every single day and to put your best foot forward and to not really think of it as working for that person who you find is disrespectful to you, but instead to say, I'm working for myself. I'm doing work that I truly feel proud of. And I'm just doing it so that at the end of the day, I know that I put my best foot forward. So practically, one of the ways that I practiced this was at the end of each workday, I would list some things that I was proud of myself for, or list things that I did a good job with. And that was a really good way for me to see that, even if I don't feel appreciated by my higher up, I know that I'm doing work that I feel proud of, and I am doing really good work for the kids that I'm working with. And I think that is one way that you can almost, in a sense, be your own boss and work for yourself. And another thing to keep in mind is that if you have tried talking to the other person that you are struggling to work with, and you've also maybe tried to bring in some outside help, higher ups, and you've had those conversations and things are still not changing or improving, then at that point, it's just important to just kind of let the person act the way they are going to act. Let them be disrespectful. Let them not show appreciation or care. Let them be themselves, because it's not your responsibility to try to change them as a person. It's your responsibility to show up to work and do the best work that you can do. And just a quick update, I am currently in a wonderful work environment. I love the people I'm working with, and I look forward to going to work and working with the people that I do work with. And so I'm really grateful that I have this amazing work environment, and I'm more appreciative of it because I know what it's like to be in a toxic work environment. And so it makes me feel very grateful to be in one where I feel nurtured and cared for, respected, and heard. It's a total 180-degree shift, and yeah, I'm very grateful. Okay, so the next reflections have to do with relationships, and this next reflection is that when you're with the right person, it'll feel right in your body. And so what I mean by this is that I have had many experiences where I have been with someone, let's say in a dating relationship, where something just didn't feel completely right, in my body. I would often feel a little bit anxious, or I'd feel on edge, or I'd feel like I just couldn't fully relax around the person. And I could really feel that on a physiological level. And then I've also been with other people where I felt like I can really relax and show up authentically and be myself and feel really at peace. And I am of the firm belief that when you are with the right person, it will feel right in your body. You'll feel at peace, you'll feel at ease, you'll feel like you can be your authentic self, and you won't feel like you're forcing something that just doesn't feel right inside. That is something that I have learned throughout the years, that my body really does kind of give those signals, and it's important to listen to those signals and to not ignore them, but instead to use them as really helpful information. And this next reflection also has to do with relationships, and that is that healthy relationships are characterized by mutual effort and care. And so I have definitely had to learn this reflection the hard way because I've been in many relationships, whether they be friendships or dating relationships, where I have felt that I have put like a lot more effort and care into the relationship than the other person was putting in. And whenever I'm in those relationships, I just feel like it's really hard to feel at peace and fully enjoy them because I feel like I'm the one carrying it. And like I feel like if I weren't to, put that effort in, if I didn't reach out, then we probably would like never see each other. And that just never feels good. It never feels good to feel like you're the one carrying the relationship and the one that's really holding it together. And I think that especially in dating relationships, it's really easy to try to like convince ourselves that the other person does like us. They're just like, maybe shy, or they're just like kind of busy or something like that. But like they've said that they like us. But I think it's like really important to look at behaviors because I think actions always speak louder than words. And if their actions are showing you that they are not really invested into getting to know you or invested into the relationship, then I think it's really important to trust those actions. This next reflection has to do with being in your 20s and the life stage and the phase that brings. That reflection is that everyone's timeline is different and that is okay. In 2025, a lot of my friends, moved out of their parents' house and they had a full-time job. They were living with, their friends or long-term partner. And I was like really excited for them. I was excited for them to embark on that exciting stage of life. And at the same time, I was also feeling a little bit behind myself because I was comparing myself and I was seeing that, I was living at home, I was working part-time, and I was very single. And it was just really easy to feel like I was falling behind and like I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing at that point in time. I think that in our 20s, there's just like a lot of pressure to just like hit certain milestones. We are supposed to be graduating from college, we're supposed to be getting our first full-time job, we're supposed to be moving out of our parents' house, we're supposed to be making a certain amount of money, we're supposed to be, meeting someone like our soulmate, and then we're supposed to possibly get married in our 20s. And it's just like a lot of societal pressure to put in your 20s. And I am definitely not a fan of those societal pressures that we put on ourselves because I think that they honestly just lead to a lot of stress and they do a lot more harm than good. Oftentimes, they just make us feel like we're behind. And they often lead us to rush into making certain decisions just because we don't want to fall behind, even if those decisions are not really aligned with what feels right for us at that point in our lives. And so, yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of those societal pressures, but at the same time, they affect me and they definitely cause anxiety in my life. And so, yeah, I know that they are very much a real thing. And so, in my experience, I knew why I was choosing to live at home. I also knew why I was making the job choices that I was making. And I was also like choosing to be single for a period of time. And so, like, I knew why I was making those choices and I felt good about those choices. And at the same time, I found myself comparing myself and feeling behind and feeling disappointed that I wasn't at the same kind of life stage as my friends. And so it was learning to like hold those two things to be true. One was that I was feeling, good about my choices. And then the second was that I was like feeling behind and disappointed. I think that two things that are seemingly contradicting can be true at the same time. Part of growing up is learning to hold two things to be true and learning to be okay with that. And just an update is that in February, I am actually moving into an apartment with my friend Alina. And I am so excited. It is my first time living on my own post-grad, and I'm really looking forward to this new phase of life. And I think it'll be really great to just get some independence and live with a really good friend of mine. And yeah, I am super excited for the things that are in store. Okay, so these next reflections have to do with creativity. So I am a very creative person. I love to be creative. It is one of my biggest passions in life. The first reflection is that when you find a creative passion, it'll feel right. And so what I mean by this is that I have tried so many creative things. Like I have tried cooking, I've tried baking, I've tried writing poetry, I've tried writing lyrics, I've tried writing personal narratives, I've tried writing cookbooks, I've tried singing, I've tried pottery, I've tried scrapbooking, and I've tried like so many more creative hobbies. And yeah, I really enjoy all of those things. Like they're a lot of fun. And at the same time, there are some of those activities that I listed just now that I felt like I really like wanted to love doing, but I didn't actually like love doing them. I just kind of like the idea of it. I'd find myself like almost like forcing myself to do it a lot and to like want to like doing it, but I just felt like it wasn't fully genuine. I felt like oftentimes I was just doing it because I was like, forcing myself to. And I think you can definitely tell when you are doing an activity that you genuinely love doing and you're genuinely passionate about versus an activity that you just really want to like, but you just don't necessarily love doing it. And that's the really cool thing about making videos for me is that when I'm doing it, I am genuinely like very gravitated toward the process. Like I love to write scripts. I love to come up with video ideas and I love to film. I love to edit. And I just like the whole process of making a video and then sharing it with other people. And I think when you find those creative hobbies that you just feel very genuine in and that you just feel like you keep gravitating toward, that's a very good sign that that's something that you might want to invest into. I'm so sorry if the audio sounds different. My microphone battery ran out and I don't have any more batteries. So yeah, that's a planning failure on my part. But anyway, the next reflection is to just put your creative work out there. Do it. Because in 2025, I finally decided to upload my first videos on YouTube. And it's one of the things I'm most proud of in 2025, just because I have been wanting to share my creative work for so long and I finally decided to do it. And I think it's just a really good creative outlet for me. I think it's a great way to share my creativity with other people. It really motivates me. It's something I'm truly passionate about. And it's something that I just love to do. And I'm always thinking about new video ideas. I'm always just like kind of getting those creative juices flowing in my brain. And I am really, really happy that I finally chose to take that step. And so if you are nervous about sharing your work with others, I just really encourage you to take the first step, because if you are genuinely passionate about creativity and it's something you genuinely love to do, then I think it's really worth it. And also, one of the first videos that I posted on YouTube was titled Just Take the First Step, and I'll link it above. And that video is kind of about my experience sharing my work with other people and the feelings and thoughts that were going through my brain as I chose to do that for the first time. And the last reflection from 2025 is just to dare to dream big. So I think a lot of people who are creative can really relate to having this passion for creativity and creating things and making art and sharing that with other people. And at the same time, kind of having to balance that with like practicalities and, finding a job that will actually pay you and has some sort of stability and like a future and everything. And so that is something that I've definitely grappled with. And I think that it is really easy to kind of feel discouraged when maybe like even the people closest to you in your life are discouraging you from pursuing something creative because it's just not as stable. It's not as straightforward a path as like a different job. And I think you hear a lot about those creatives and artists in the world who have been discouraged and told not to follow their passion. So those artists just kept on choosing to do what they love to do, and they did it because they genuinely loved it and they believed in their dream and they wanted to shoot their shot. And I think that's like truly a beautiful thing. And I am really inspired by those people. And I don't think that means that, you can't also pursue a job that will, get you some sort of financial stability. Like they don't have to be mutually exclusive. I just think it's really worth it to pursue something that you genuinely love. Let yourself dream and don't let other people's doubts discourage you from pursuing what you've always wanted to do. So now on to the goals for 2026. So I have a few main goals. One of those goals is to keep growing my YouTube channel and keep posting videos that I'm really proud of. And a second goal that I have is to engage in healthy habits. So that includes, going to bed at a consistent time, waking up at a consistent time, getting consistent exercise and eating well, like just all those healthy things that I try to keep up, because when I do those things, I tend to feel best in life. Another general goal that I have for this year is to buy less and make more. Whenever I have an opportunity to make something myself, I will try to, make it homemade instead of buying it. And so one example of that is that for my new apartment, I'm trying to make as many decorations as I can for the apartment rather than buying them. Because I think one, it's cheaper, but it's also just like a really cool way to decorate your place and make it really personal. And another big thing is I really want to cook more this year and eat out less because food tends to be a huge cost for me. One last goal that I have, which is also kind of just a general goal for life, is just to engage in healthy, life-giving relationships and surround myself with positive people. Okay, I'm going to end with my favorites of the year. The highlight trip of this year was going to Greece with my friend Mira. You can check that video out. I will link it above. A highlight moment was adopting my dog Mochi, who is a mini golden doodle. And he's almost 2 years old now, which is crazy. One of my favorite books from this year was a book called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. One of my favorite shows was a show called Shrinking. One of my favorite podcasts was On Purpose with Jay Shetty, which is kind of like a more insightful, deep podcast. But if you're looking for a fun podcast, I really like the podcast Normal Gossip. My favorite drink of the year was a matcha Einspanner, which I ordered more times than I can count. I don't even know how many matcha Einspanners I drank in 2025. And then my favorite song of 2025 was Wood by Taylor Swift. I listened to that song about 96 times in 2025, and I know that because of my Spotify Wrapped. And that brings me to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. And please comment below which reflection may have resonated with you. It would mean so much to me if you liked this video and subscribed to my channel. All the support is much, much appreciated. And yeah, thank you so much again for watching, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.